Shalom. My name is Ron Warren with the Nuggets of the Torah. This week's teaching is the 9th Parsha, and it's called Vayeshev, and he dwelt. In Genesis chapter 37, verse 2, it reads, "This is the account of Jacob," and yet it starts with the life of Joseph. And the rest of the book of Genesis, Bereshit, will cover the life of Joseph. Now consider this. It will be through Joseph that the covenant will be carried to the 4th generation. It will be through Joseph that we learn what a suffering servant looks like. It will be through Joseph that we wind up learning what the fear of God is like in a life. It will be through Joseph that we will learn both betrayal and unconditional forgiveness looks like. It will be through Joseph that we learn what it's like to bear false accusations and stand silently in the face of it like a lamb before the shearers. It will be through Joseph that we will learn what both experiencing bondage and being miraculously delivered from bondage looks like. And it will be through Joseph that we will discover what redemption looks like. And without this information, how do you know what a covenant lifestyle would be like? You know, the story of Joseph is not an allergy, nor is it a shadow, nor is it a symbol. He is a real character, and his adventures and misadventures are his own. But this story of Joseph also connects to the Messiah that is expected to come. Why? God is the author of salvation for both then and now. The story of Joseph foreshadows the story of the Messiah so much because both stories are similar. They both tell the story of God raising up a Savior for the salvation of Israel. Now, this may shock you, but God is not a God who deals in fairness. The concept of fairness is a figment of a human imagination. It is an unpredictable fantasy that changes shape from person to person, and its concept is entirely subjective. Fairness is always 100% in the eyes of the beholder. And what people think is fair and unfair changes with every fundamental wind of doctrine and every delicate shift in cultural priorities. Fairness is a moral standard, and therefore if the attitude of the majority of the people of a culture shifts in the issue of what they think is morally looks right to them, then what's going to happen is that society's definition of fairness is also going to change. God doesn't deal with this concept. He does not deal in terms of fairness. He deals with the terms of justice. Justice is a covenantal standard. And being that standard, justice will take whatever action it needs on the part of the stronger covenant partner to make that covenant stronger and more secure and to secure its ends. Fairness is something that is the subject of the opinions of men. Justice is an exclusive prerogative of God Himself. And justice is dependent upon divine perception. That's why justice is so superior to fairness. God has the advantage of purity of motive and cross-generational vision. You know, the question should never be whether something is or is not fair. Instead, the question is how God would have you to respond justly to what offends and wounds your sense of fairness. To do justice instead of resorting to some human image of trying to dole out what will be perceived as others as fairness is one of the challenges that God uses to cause the death of our flesh every day we live on the planet Earth. We are supposed to give up our ideas of fairness, morality, good, evil, right, and wrong in exchange for His will in every situation. All human opinions, attitudes, and judgments regarding these subjects are vanity. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, and company are going to learn in this week's Torah portion that self-interest will blind them and raw emotions will cloud their perception. But how about you? Are all of your opinions, attitudes, and judgments about the people and situations any better than those of Joseph's brothers about that dreamer? Shalom. Until next week with the Nuggets of the Torah.